What's up, guys? Today I want to share with you how I made one of my clients an extra 80k in brand new revenue in exactly 30 days. So this is their Klaviyo dashboard screenshot before they started working with us. So as you can see, they were doing around 80k in total revenue and basically nothing on the email side. And then exactly 1 month later, so from November 2nd to December 2nd, we added them an extra 79k or close to 80k with emails, and that resulted in their total revenue being over 160k. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Bookman, that's great, but that was Q4, it was Black Friday. Those numbers, those sales are a bit inflated. Well, I beg to differ because in the upcoming months, we just kept increasing their revenue. And in the last 30 days, we're doing over 114k from emails and over $227,000 in total revenue. So obviously, what we are doing works. So before I dive into the case study, I just quickly want to talk about the speed of execution and how long it took me to deliver. Personally, I believe in e-commerce as in life itself, speed is king. The first call I had with this client was on October 29th, and by November 2nd, which is like 5 days in total, he had 6 complete flows with 23 emails in total, with A/B tests running on the welcome flow and the abandoned checkout. So those are usually the flows that convert the most people and thus generate the most revenue. Then we also implemented two forms, one optimized for mobile and one optimized for desktop, with both of them having a live A/B test. We had 5 campaigns, two which were made for deliverability purposes, which I'll talk about in the next step, designed to start driving revenue from day one. So in just 5 days, the system was fully built and running with no templates or cookie cutter approaches. We customize everything to the brand, their niche, and their ICP, and the proof it works is in the results itself. All right, so step number one, optimizing deliverability. This is the pillar of your email marketing. You can have the best emails in the world, which will make a person whip out their credit card in zero point 0.1 seconds of seeing it, but it's useless if they don't even see it. If you're spam, you're basically guaranteed to make no revenue from emails. So the first thing I did was set up their DNS records. Here I'm talking about SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, and brand extended domain for my client. This allowed him to build a clean sending reputation, which as a result helped email inbox providers such as Gmail and Outlook see the brand as a legit sender and avoid sending their emails to spam. That itself wasn't enough. We needed people to actually engage with our emails, and the best thing you can do for your sender's reputation, which if you're unfamiliar with it, it's basically like social credit score for your deliverability, let's say. So the best thing you can do here is get people to reply to your emails. So you can think about it like open rates or click rate. Those are all positive interactions. Those are all like +1 points, but replies are like +2, for example, because it signals it's a really good green flag to email inbox providers that people like your emails and they like to engage with you and you're a legit sender, you're not a scam or whatever. Obviously, you don't want the replies to be like, "Don't email me anymore" or stuff like that. But you get the point. So I set up two of my secret deliverability boosting campaigns, which are the goals of getting as much replies as possible, which helped us establish a solid sender reputation and help our emails land in people's primary inboxes. As you can see in the screenshots here, the first one had 70% open rate and the other one had 93% open rate. These open rates numbers are a bit inflated. Their usual email campaigns have around 50% open rates, which is great. Again, the opens really depend on the segment size of the number of people you're emailing in your list. But yeah, we kept the segments here tight on purposely so we can get those extra deliverability points in, so we can use those to snowball and compound into our next subscribers, right? So if these people reacted well, because if our previous subscribers reacted well, that signals to email inbox providers that probably our future subscribers will too, so they'll move our emails to either promotions or primary inbox, hopefully, but definitely not the spam folder. All right, next up, opt-in forms. Now, in 90% of e-com brand cases, I personally see they are the lowest hanging fruit because they are simple to optimize and easy to convert more people into subscribers and buyers. But because this brand hadn't done any email marketing before, I had to create a completely new one, and that's exactly what I did. I didn't just throw up a random pop-up and hoped it works. I A/B tested to incentive to see what works for this brand specifically. I started off with percentage off versus dollar amount off for the same discount value, basically based on the AOV of the product. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong. Now, if you look at a screenshot of this opt-in form A/B test, you'll see that the 10% off had a 7.99% submit rate. So the number of people that became email subscribers, not buyers, and the $25 off had 7.76. Now, some people would go and just select this one as a winner, but submit rate is not what we care about the most. Of course, that is important, but what we care about the most is revenue and profit. So even though the 10% of had a higher submit rate, so we got more subscribers with them, those subscribers didn't compensate for the revenue that the other opt-in form created, generated in this case the $25 off. So the $25 off simply made more revenue in total and more orders with the same margins. Again, like we talked about here, the discount value is pretty similar, means more profit, and it's simple as that. And besides the hundreds of thousands of dollars I made this brand in the last couple of months, I also added 25k new subscribers to their email list, which they can market to forever or until they unsubscribe. So yeah, that's cool too. All right, next up, flows. Most brands either don't have flows set up properly or they're using some basic outdated flows that barely convert. Because this brand hasn't done any email marketing before, I had to fully recreate all of the flows, and I started with the famous 6 core flows. Here I'm talking about the welcome flow, abandon cart, checkout, browse, site, and the post-purchase upsell flow. Once these were live, the system was already generating revenue on autopilot, and after that, I expanded even further with the second purchase flow. So that's for the people who bought for the second time. The win back flow, so that's for the people who bought but then hadn't bought again in an X amount of time. And then we had the VIP flow. We consider people who bought 3 times or more a VIP, or the people who spent an X amount of AOV on their order. So they had a huge dollar order, right? So they spent a lot in the order they made. They don't have to be like 3 times bar, they can be just once, but they spend a lot of money on the order, right? So no matter where someone is in their customer journey, there is always an email pushing them closer to buying, so we make sure we don't leave a single cent on the table. Step 4, campaigns. Because it was Black Friday period, we ended up selling 25 campaigns in total in just a period of 30 days. Yes, that is a lot, but because it was Black Friday, it was justified. And as you can see, based on the results and based on the engagement of the list, nobody was complaining. Nobody was like, stop sending me emails. People were buying. So we ended up making 27K just from campaigns alone. Email campaigns are crucial for your e-commerce brand, and they are a great way to generate revenue on demand. And this amplifies as your list grows because you have more people to market to, for basically pennies on the dollar. Because I mean, you won't have to pay for Klaviyo. That's like, I mean, Klaviyo is getting expensive these days, but you know, it's still the best ROI marketing channel there is, 100%. And it's really crucial because you can monetize the traffic you already paid for if you're running ads, lower your CAC by converting existing leads, increase your AOV and LTV, and keep people loyal to your brand and avoid them from buying from competitors, because you'll just stay on top of mind of your customers. And when they need a solution to the problem your product is providing, they will think about you because you're in their face, in their inbox every other day. Also, campaigns serve as a great traffic fuel for flows. For example, somebody clicks on the campaign, they go to the product page, they don't buy, and they just leave the website. They get added to the browser abandonment flow. They from there either buy, or they maybe add to cart or go to checkout, leave the cart or checkout, get added to the abandoned cart or checkout flow. From there, they either buy, or you just keep sending them campaigns until they buy or die, right? Or they unsubscribe. I'm just kidding. And then they get added to the post purchase flow. They buy again, they get added to the post purchase flow number 2, 3 times for the VIP, and so on, right? So yeah, the entire email ecosystem depends on everything to work so you can get properly, so you can get the best results possible. It just feeds of different parts of itself, right? Yep, so that was it. We had the basics all nailed down, and there was one thing left to do. It was to optimize each of the part of the email ecosystem to get the best results possible. Now, there are literally hundreds of things you can A/B test inside your Klaviyo account, but I did not waste time testing random stuff. I focus on the high needle moving parts of the funnel that have the biggest impact on revenue and ROI. Here I'm talking about stuff like the opt-in form. If you remember earlier, I mentioned that we A/B tested the offer first, then we A/B tested the structure of the opt-in form. So in this case, it was one step versus a 2 steps or a micro commit pop-up, and the other one simply one. Then we tested the welcome email number one, and we also tested the time when the abandoned checkout email was sent. Now you might not think much of it, like the time maybe doesn't impact so much, but as you can see here, the first one was sent 30 minutes after the person left their checkout, and the second one was sent 1 hour later. The 1 hour one later had 2.1 conversion rate, so that means 2.5% of people who left the checkout, and then 1 hour later they received the email. So 2.1% of those people just ended up converting, going back to the website and buying. But on the other side, we had just only 1.2%, which is like an 80 plus percent increase, right? From 1.2 to 2.1, almost double. So yeah, just by tweaking the time when the email was sent. So yeah, more people enter the list, more people convert on the first touch, more people come back and complete their purchase, and that's how you make more revenue. Simple as that. So again, you just optimize every single system, every single step of the entire email funnel, and that's how it works. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to quickly touch on the client experience. So we handled everything inside of Klaviyo. And I'm talking strategy, deliverability, copy, design, testing, everything. We make sure that everything works and is optimized for the best results profit-wise. Again, I want to emphasize profit-wise because we didn't just put up the biggest discounts there. We didn't run crazy discounts or anything like that because we wanted to focus on, we didn't want just to have like big numbers on the attributed revenue from emails. We want the person, my client, to get the best profit. Simple as that. So the only thing he had to do, my client, was review emails before they went out. And that probably took around 4 hours a month. And after the first month, he even stopped doing that because he saw that I know what I'm doing based on the results I generated for him. And today, my client probably doesn't even check Klaviyo. I create personalized reports for him weekly and monthly, only showing him what actually matters. So, no BS, straight to the point. So, he or me don't waste any of our times. So, yeah, if you're interested in having a similar experience as my client here, I'll leave my Candle link as the first link in the description below. You can book a call there. I'll go over your current Klaviyo setup, and if it makes sense for us to work together, I'll guarantee you that I'll generate you at least 30K in new monthly revenue within 60 days. Just to be upfront, I charge 2K a month with 100% money back guarantee. No questions asked. Obviously, I'll ask you a couple of questions like why, but you'll get your money back nevertheless if you're not fully satisfied. So yeah, if you're interested in it, click below to book a call. If not, that's cool too. I hope you guys got some value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.